Broadcasting safe from the
All right, folks, here we go. 3 big mistakes. After I wrote that headline, I realized that there's 3 of us on this program. That's like, 3 big mistakes.
You could take that the wrong way.
Yeah, you could take it the wrong way. But a special edition here of the Tangent True Crime Podcast. We're taking a look at 3 big mistakes in the Nancy Guthrie investigation and what that means. And we're looking at it a couple different ways. Number 1, mistakes made in the actual investigation. Also, potentially mistakes made by those responsible for the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. Because I do not believe this was the perfect crime, and I don't believe this was the perfect investigation. So we'll take a look at those mistakes in this video. 3 big ones. Speaking of 3 big ones, I'm Vinnie Politan, lead anchor for Court TV. With me, Albert H. Wunsch III.
Hola, Tangenistas, and happy Pi Day.
Also with us, the radio legend, the one and only Jonesey.
Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey.
And ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. This is the Tangent True Crime Podcast.
It's Vinnie and the Tangent True Crime Podcast. Vinnie has the blue eyes, Al cracks the jokes. Jonesey stays behind his shades, entertaining all the folks. It's Vinnie and the Tangent True Crime Podcast. Load up all your comments, hit those super chats. Let's go smash that like button so we can all have a blast. Vinnie, Al, and Jonesy on the job. They're the Sugar Hill gang of true crime. They're telling stories of days gone by. They take crime and turn into a good old time. It's Vinnie and the Tangent True Crime Podcast.
All right, for those of you watching live, it is Saturday, and for whatever reason, I rebooted my computer, but I do look like my video is a little sketchy right now, huh? Does it look sketchy to you guys?
Yeah, it is a little. It is
a little sketchy, right? Like, what is going on here? Come back here, you bit.
Usually I'm the sketchy one.
Monsters are such interesting people.
And it makes no sense. I am plugged directly into my Wi-Fi. It's not even Wi-Fi. It's a direct line into the wall. I rebooted my computer. I don't have a bunch of programs up. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I need to upgrade something. Anyhow, my apologies, ladies and gentlemen, but we are going to bring you this anyway. We will. The show must go on.
That's right.
The show must go on. So we're going to go through one by one. Each of us has a big mistake to talk about in the Nancy Guthrie investigation. And obviously, I'm shocked that we are here at this point because I don't believe this was a perfect crime. I don't believe it was a perfect investigation, but I don't believe it was a perfect crime. I don't think this was like the like some sort of genius planning and plotting and all of this. It looks sloppy. It looked messy. Yet here we are in the middle of March, and Nancy Guthrie was last seen at the end of January, which to me is absolutely shocking. So why don't we jump right into it and we get to you know, it was interesting. I was making the elements, which is like the videos for this. And, you know, you have to always give a file a name, right? So I was doing the big mistakes. So I was just numbering them, you know, number 1, number 2, number 3. And I abbreviated. So Al will be bringing us BM number 1.
Ah, okay.
So right, Al.
And bowel movement number 1.
What is your BM?
My BM is this. My beef on this investigation, which was to bring an homage to one of our older shows that we used to do, is that the crime scene was mishandled very early on. So what I see with regards to the way this had been handled is that they did the absolute no-nos of crime scene investigation. One, they removed the crime scene tape too early. Two, they didn't secure the house for a long enough period of time. And three, they had to keep returning to the house to collect additional evidence. So when you rush that type of a situation, okay, you have a definite problem with regards to evidence, and you lose forensic evidence. So those were the three things that stood out to me. And part of that was also the fact that they didn't get in the air quick enough. So you've got, they screwed up the crime scene. And as to make matters worse, they have this like division where they can put a plane up and take a look around the area and everything else. And they had to wait over 3 hours before it could get authorization because the only pilot in that sheriff's department had been punished and been put on basic patrol. So they didn't even have a pilot to get the plane up and start looking in the area. 3 hours later, just way too much time. So crime scene was compromised, and their opportunity to get kind of boots in the air was compromised. And that is big mistake numero uno.
So how large of a BM is this?
It's huge. It's absolutely huge because the crime scene, you know, they tell you that usually if a crime is not solved within 24 hours, you know, you lose so much momentum with regards to an investigation, and it becomes much more difficult. So the culmination of evidence in the early onset of this is absolutely primo. It needs to be done. It has to be processed quickly. Anything that's there needs to be preserved. And it wasn't. The crime scene situation there was Keystone Cop. And you've got a sheriff who's got some, you know, problems in and of himself with regards to false statements on his resume and all this other stuff. The fact that he had been drummed out of the police department back in the 80s because of all these infractions that he did. And this guy is running the show. Huge problem. But and that'll be on one of you guys is talking about.
So there's a but for your BM? Is that what you're saying?
But any police investigation will tell you, any guy who knows what they're doing, that the house has to be secured. And it has to be secured for a long period of time, enough time to go through every nook and cranny of that house before it is opened up and then everything is lost. There is nothing more embarrassing. And you know, I represent police officers. I've been talking to them about this investigation because they're fascinated with it. And they kept saying to me, there's nothing more embarrassing than, oops, we got to go back. I mean, that is humiliating to police. And it is an absolute travesty with regards to the victim. Okay. And then when and if a trial ever comes, it's a disaster area.
Yeah.
So
well, here's what Bob Bianchi is saying. Bob Bianchi, fellow New Jerseyan.
Yes,
former,
and went to law school with me, same class.
Look at that. Look at that. I said this from the beginning. Should I say like Bob? I said this from the beginning, having handled the cases like this. The release of the crime scene within 24 hours told me all I needed to know. It was amateur hour over here. Oh, he doesn't actually speak like that. I'm only kidding.
He was a prosecutor. He was a prosecutor of Morris County, and
I turned him into Dice Clay for a second.
Well, yeah. Well, he was still the only prosecutor in Jersey history that has done press releases and press conferences using the word "ifin." If news guys ain't gonna get moving on this, I'm gonna boot you in the ass with a shovel. You know, so. It's very important that you get a guy like that.
Now, if I were on his jury, he would win me over immediately.
Exactly. Well, he won them. Yeah, he wins a lot of cases.
I love Bob. He was in Section A of my law school class, and I was in section C, and mine was because that was my grade point average.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point.
Bob
Actually,
said that you went to his law school. You were in
is
his
that
class.
what you're saying now? Okay.
Yeah,
Very nice.
exactly. All right. Thank you, Bob. Great to hear from you. Folks are already lining things up in the chat, amazingly, on this Saturday. Oh, my goodness gracious. Arkansas Bestie. Whoa. Thank you, Arkansas Bestie. Never get to catch alive my three favorite men, hotties. Keep up all the good work, guys. From our Arkansas. You ever been to Arkansas, Al?
Yes, I actually, Don Bosco played in Arkansas. I went for with the football team, and we played in Arkansas. Unbelievable game.
You actually played a game there, or you went to see?
No, I was coaching the football team there.
Okay, because back in the 80s, you're not traveling to Arkansas to play football.
No. We did not. We did not in the 80s.
One other.
I was in Arkansas. I was in Arkansas for 3 hours. Crossed over the border while I was staying down in the area to go to the dog racing track there.
Oh, nice. So I was there. There is a really good pizzeria in Arkansas.
Really?
Yes, because there's a little pocket of relocated witnesses down in Arkansas. And I think some guy from Portland went down there and opened up it's like the real deal. It's like if it was in New Jersey, if it was in New York, if it was in Connecticut, you would actually go to this pizzeria. It's that good. It's not like, I'm in Arkansas. Yeah, this is the best place in Arkansas. No, it's phenomenal. I forgot the name of it, but it's really, really, it's legendary. So thank you so much, Arkansas Bestie.
My favorite car in the whatchamacallit, that old cartoon was the Arkansas Chugabug.
Yes. Oh, by the way, on Facebook, Deborah sending stars. Deborah Cromlish agreeing with Al, or she agrees with AI. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm one and the same.
Yeah. Karen Flint, Eargood sending stars. Thank you so much. And Karen Flint, Eargood. It was a bleep show from the start. They failed Nancy miserably. So here's the question with BM number 1 that we're on right now. Let me get it. Remove, add it to the stage. There we go. With this, is it fatal? Is it fatal to, and I'm not talking about prosecuting someone. I'm talking about, is it fatal to the first thing, which is finding Nancy? Was the mishandling of the crime scene, do you believe it's fatal to finding Nancy?
It is detrimental to finding. I don't think it's fatal.
Okay.
But the thing is this: in any type of a situation, when you're dealing with a sickly octogenarian, time is of the essence.
Wait, ladies and gentlemen, every time Al says octogenarian, you have to take a drink. Even it's past noon on the East Coast. There we go.
All right. And little Arkansas Chugabug in there. It is absolutely detrimental in time, and it takes away from time. And that is the essence of what needs to be done in these types of situations. Time is so important, and especially when the woman is sickly, okay? And that is what was screwed up. Had the plane got up immediately, who knows? Who knows what we would have found? We would have had surveillance of the entire area within a short time frame from when she was allegedly abducted. Okay, so we've got a scenario that was lost based on stupidity.
Now you say allegedly abducted. Why would you
I say allegedly abducted? Because I'm assuming that I may show she says allegedly kidnapped. I'm assuming, I know she was abducted, but what I'm saying is that I'm not sure that this was a kidnapping. I think this was something different than a kidnapping. Right. Which I've said since day one. But
that's what I've been trying to say abductor as much as possible, because it's not clear. Look at this. This is the great comment. Judy Walkup 6297. You know, we're doing the 3 big mistakes today. Only 3? Only 3?
There's only 3 of us.
That's where the comments come in because they can take over from mistake number 4 and forward.
And I am Albert H. Wunsch III. So I like to do 3s.
You were not a mistake, though.
Thank you. Thank you.
I do. A friend of mine, you know, at least he told me he was a mistake because, you know, he's got siblings who are significantly older.
Yes. The Irish have a term for that.
I was probably a mistake.
Were you?
Probably.
How much older are your siblings?
Well, my sister is only like 5 years older, but you know, nonetheless, I surmise that I was a mistake because I was actually born to I was fathered by I was a bastard son. The parents were parents by name were separated, and there was another person involved there. So I assume that means I was a mistake.
Are you half siblings?
So my elder brothers are half siblings, and my sister and I are full.
So why would you be a mistake?
It's
if you don't want to get into it, don't get into it. I don't want to force it.
Well, it's for the aforementioned reasons. I mean, you know, I was put it this way. I was the one that they knew was a half son to the Joneses.
Gotcha. Okay.
Half child.
Gotcha. Now, did you like the Cher song "Half Breed"?
Oh, I love that. Why wouldn't you not like that song?
There we go. All right, we got a great comment here from Heather whatever one. Only you guys could start my day with a laugh. Thank you. Oh, yes, we take crime and turn it into a good old time. That's
exactly right. That's what's different than the other podcasts out there.
That's the motto of the show. And we've got, I think it's from overseas somewhere, Pussycat TV. Hey boys, Vinnie, will Court TV renew memberships? Interesting. Probably talking about the Court TV YouTube channel. Interesting. I'm not sure how that's going to play out. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure. I would think it would be business as usual over there at Pussycat TV, but I cannot answer you. I do not know that answer, and I apologize for not knowing that answer. I know some things. I don't know other things. All right. So, Jonesy, what how did anything surprise you about the handling of the crime scene or the so-called mishandling of the crime scene?
Beyond my big mistake, yeah.
Should we get to BM number 2?
Well, okay. Quickly.
Because I think it plays well with BM number 1. I think you can kind of mix those two together.
Yeah, and quickly before we do that, like the the idea that there's a TV show I watch, right, and they put emphasis on the first 48 hours, and it seems like Albert was pointing out, and other things that I've noticed that they didn't quite have the pace of a crime that would be featured on that particular show.
Yeah. It was interesting because the way it broke in terms of the media finding out is that it was a local story, Sunday, and then all of a sudden the name started coming out, and then by Sunday night it started trickling in. By Monday it was like boom, it was everywhere. All right, let's get to BM number 2. Delay in calling in the FBI. Jonesy, explain.
Okay, so I have this thing about the FBI. For example, when I read about local crimes, when somebody robs a bank versus robbing a New York City bodega, I once read that the average bank robbery is like $1,800 or $3,000 or something. It's chump change when you think about it. You can get as much from an established business, but when you cross over and you take out a bank, well, now you got the feds after you, the FBI. And to me, that if I were in a situation where somebody was looking for me, I would be a hell of a lot less confident if I knew the federal authorities were coming after me. Now, perhaps I'm naive in that regard, Some police departments, probably are top notch. But the idea that the FBI wasn't involved right away strikes me as something that could have been a big mistake, or was a big mistake, because don't you want like all of your assets, all of your capabilities to focus in on this thing? And it kind of goes back to every TV show I ever watched. Once the feds walk in, there's a jurisdiction battle. Like on Law and Order, the detectives will be like, it's our collar. The feds are like, no, we got them, kind of deal. So I think if you had like faster involvement with the FBI, you might have gotten a little bit further in the early stages of the investigation.
I think the other thing with the FBI is they committed to their own lab for the DNA
resources, right?
Right. So initially, Pima County, with their initial collection of DNA, they sent to the lab that they use, which is a private lab in Florida, which might be good, might be fine. But since they went there with the initial batch, they continued to use that private lab and didn't have access, or didn't, bring the stuff over to Quantico and to the FBI and allow them to do all of the DNA work in the case. So I think that's a mistake with this as well.
Doesn't that also delay the FBI's ability to take whatever results you get from those tests and put it into their system and have some leads put out?
Yeah, it's like one-stop shopping. You get it to the FBI, it's one-stop shop. We don't have to send it here. They've got it, and they control it. And the other thing I like about it is your witnesses down the road, if there's a trial, you bring in FBI witnesses, there's a certain cachet that they'll have on the witness stand for you. But I think it's also easier to keep everything, within law enforcement rather than going outside and subcontracting it.
Well, the thing is this: the FBI offers tremendous resources and also offers tremendous experience with regards to this. The FBI has been permitted, through an act of Congress since 1932, to be involved in kidnappings. And that is all thanks to the Lindbergh kidnapping. Then at that point, the FBI was not permitted by law to go in on kidnappings. And after June 22nd of 1932, the FBI now gets the chance to get involved in any type of kidnapping situation. So you bring in resources and you bring in people who have experience in this type of crime. And that gives you a chance to have them take a look at the scene fresh, which Jonesey had brought up, to look at the scene fresh, not look at the scene weeks down the road or days down the road. And as I said before, with regards to their inability to keep the crime scene from being contaminated, the FBI would have been in there before that. What do you think they kept going back? Because the FBI was like, well, did you check this? Did you check that? Did you look at this? And those are the reasons why Investigation had to reopen and go back into the house and put their tails between their legs. Had the FBI been there as quickly as possible, and they can be there within minutes, it would have been a better evaluation of the crime scene and may have led to a swifter end to this nightmare for the Guthrie family.
What you need is Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. on a Sunday night to be showing you like pictures of the manhunt, the man they're looking for on this particular one. For those of you who don't remember, the FBI was a TV show back in the 60s. It was very cool. At the end, the guy who plays the head of the FBI would show you a picture of an actual person on the top 10 wanted list. And it was very intriguing. It was one of your first true crime moments, I guess, on TV.
Jonesy, any family members of yours on any of the top 10 crime lists?
No, unfortunately, they never made it into the big leagues. I always kind of felt like I could be more proud of my brother instead of being a petty hood. If he was a member of an organization, maybe some kind of organization that specializes in criminal activity,
like the Kiwanis Club.
Oh, you're going to get in trouble for that.
So,
I had some dealings with the Kiwanis Club this week. They are an annoying group.
so are we shocked that, you had hundreds of people from Pima County, you had hundreds of assets from the FBI, all at the same time in on this case within, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. And we are again here in the middle of March, and we do not have
Do not have an answer. That's correct. You got cut off on there, Vinny.
I'm so surprised by that I used to wake up and think maybe today. And now I feel like maybe never.
Well, it's funny when I see it, like, I get a little snippet of a headline and they'll say Guthrie, and I'm like, but fingers crossed it's going to be something good. And it's not. Yeah. It's usually the same old, now. And that is one of the other things that's driving me nuts about this case is the confusing public messages. 1, she's targeted. 2, well, he could strike again. I mean, what is that? I mean, could you possibly, like the oxymoron, emphasis on moron, that this sheriff has become is just ridiculous. She was definitely targeted. There's no way this was targeted. We know it's targeted because it's, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, yes, targeted. And then,
but the question is she targeted because she's Nancy Guthrie, or is she targeted because she's an elderly woman in a beautiful home in a beautiful neighborhood that lives alone?
He never says that because he goes, I'm not going to discuss motive, but we know the motive.
Well, what do you think? I think she was obviously targeted. I just don't know if she was targeted because of who she is or because of what she is, which is, an 84-year-old woman who lives alone.
Amen to that.
Amen to that. I'm speculating here, but I can't help but think that it had something to do with the connection to fame.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think that it was a crime of opportunity. 80 octogenarian, start drinking, folks. There you go. Thank you. Salud. An octogenarian, okay, alone in a house like that, okay, prime individual to go after. I mean, target wise, it's unbelievable to get something like that. I had represented and been involved in a situation where there were police officers in a certain town that were breaking into houses, okay, and they were targeting houses with people who were elderly for a couple of reasons. 1, they knew that most of the elderly people that lived in this town didn't believe in banks because they were all products of the Depression, okay? And so they saw that their mothers and fathers had all their savings wiped out in the stock market crash of 29, and they would stuff everything under a mattress, or they would keep it under a floorboard, or they would do this or they would do that. And that was why those people were being targeted, because they knew that there was money there. So I think she was targeted because of what she was, not who she was.
Yeah, I agree too. I don't know. I think it's a very huge possibility in all of this that's what happened. And I wanted to show this before we get to BM number 3. I wanted to put this note up. Where is it? I lost it. I had a great note. Oh, here we go. This is from Boston Mo 114. It's Irish weekend here in Boston, so I am having homemade Irish bread.
Irish soda bread.
Sublime. They wander through jokes into crime. There's Vinnie and Al, Jonesey stirring it all, spilling tea while they're killing the time. Raise a glass to the tangent they ride, laughing hard as the facts all collide. Bit of gossip There's a bit of grime there, confessing one punchline at a time on the True Crime Tangent Day Guide.
And,
Wow.
And Vinny, here's a little question for you. What's Irish and sits out in the rain?
Irish and sits out in the rain. I don't know.
Patio furniture. Thank you. I'll be here all week. And remember to tip your bartenders and your waitresses.
Vinny, you can use that song all month because St. Patrick's Day has become a month-long event. Especially where back here in Jersey, every community has a parade on the weekend, and they're staggered, no pun intended, throughout the entire month.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is, so they don't compete with one another because there's only so many.
Boston is the Irish capital of the country, right? Will you agree?
Boston?
Yeah.
South Boston is definitely the Irish.
Southeast of Boston. And, and in terms of Irish law enforcement, I think that's a Boston thing too.
I know New York is very big with that also.
Yeah.
New York is very big with that. All right, Clancy, take the boys and surround the house.
Yeah, I always get a kick when the local news goes to one of the communities in New Jersey and they're talking to the fire chief or the police chief, and they have like the thickest brogue, like it's like it's right out of a Bugs Bunny episode. Clancy, take the boys and surround the house.
You might, Rabbit. You might.
All right, I've got to get to some more. We've got a lot of folks on Facebook today. Give yourselves a hand. On Facebook is showing up big time today. YouTube, obviously in the house, but Facebook killing it today. We've got some stars, and I just have to give the shout outs here. I got to give the shout outs here. Linda Jean Melville. Hi, everyone. Good to see you, Vinny and the crew. Hey,
red alert.
Vinny and the crew, what you going to do? Make a break, make a move. Sue Forte. Grazie, Sue. Lauren Kerrigan Cooney. Does anyone know why they took her? They took nothing plus no ransom. We think someone got the wrong person and they did it for revenge. Sick people. Love you guys. Court TV is awesome, says Lori. Linda Jean Melville. We are just glad to see you all today. So thank you, everyone. So the why of it. I don't think we learn the why of it until they actually capture the person. Sometimes the why leads to the suspect. Here, I think the suspect leads to the why.
Yeah, but I'm the fact that there's nothing missing there. It leads me to believe that there was a miscalculation, or maybe she got up and maybe collapsed and they panicked, because with that 40-minute gap there of time, that seems to me something where it's going around going, what the hell do we do now? Okay. Yeah. So I mean, and then you're not thinking about grabbing anything, because now you're thinking, if we've now got felony red rum situation here, where now we're looking at life without parole. So I think it was a panic, and that's why I don't think anything was taken.
You all got the deep end in Arizona. That's a possibility as well. So
okay, that's true. But what I'm saying is that you've also got a scenario here where there was never a legitimate ransom note ever. So
speaking of notes, this is a very important question coming from Lisa Mitchell, WV. If Vinny does a last-minute day switch like we did from Friday to Saturday for the show, does Albert have to rewrite this day in history segment?
I did. Okay, I did. I had already had March 13th all done, which is also my daughter's birthday, by the way. I was going to send a birthday wish out to her, but nonetheless, I did. And March 13th was done, and now I had to come up with March 14th. So thank you for pointing that out, because no one else cares.
No one else cares. Beverly Vidales, the Guthrie family should hire their own investigator to find their mom. Do you think at some point they do that?
It's funny when you look at we're looking at the Corey Urchin's trial, and they have that private investigator up there, and I'm telling you, like, he just looked so hinky to me and really came across very, very badly.
You think
And
so? I didn't
I
think
did.
so.
Oh my God. He reminded me of Gary Busey in The Firm, the movie The Firm. He was the private eye in that one with that little smug look and the way he was dealing with. I always look at the way private investigators deal with cross-examination. And the way he dealt with cross-examination was he was just very smug, very smart, very catty. Okay. And it just turned me off. If I was a juror, I would have been turned off big time by him.
Well, thank goodness you're not in the jury.
Yes.
By the way, Jonesy, if you had to hire a private investigator from the world of 70s television, who would you hire to solve this case?
Private investigator, Mannix.
Mannix. Yeah, I think you would need someone like Mannix on this one.
Yeah,
Cannon.
Because he, it's open. It's a open terrain down there. He can run fast. He can fight when necessary.
And he's named after my great uncle.
Yeah,
my great uncle.
I would just be afraid of Barnaby Jones being out in that desert heat too long.
But
given the age of the victim here, Barnaby Jones wouldn't be a bad bet either.
Well, that's true. He would understand the victimology a little bit better of the whole thing. Was he an octogenarian or whatever it is called?
I think he was a septuagenarian.
Thank you. Yeah, he was in his 70s at the time. Let me tell you,
he was in his 70s when he was Barnaby Jones.
Oh yeah, well, he was in his 50s when he was in the Clampetts and no, a
lot of times those people like R.G. Bunker was in his.
He's
40s.
So old. He was supposed to be in Wizard of Oz.
He was in Wizard of Oz, but he lost the part because he was supposed to be
too tall.
He was allergic.
He was supposed to be the Tin Man, and the paint screwed him up, and it gave him an allergic reaction. Beverly Hillbillies, he was in his 50s.
The paint will do that to you. I had Ace Frehley stick his head into my car once and say, "Hey man, I'm Ace," and I stared at him, and he had pock marks everywhere from that early makeup that wasn't as refined as we have today.
All right, Buddy Epson was 64 when he began playing the role of Barnaby Jones. That's it.
Oh, 64? Okay.
Like in a few years, we could be playing Barnaby Jones.
I could be playing him now.
I've got a year and 2 weeks.
Do you know karate? Because he used to know karate.
Really? I don't remember him doing much karate.
Yeah, he would every once in a while. He would do a little. Yeah.
I thought he would use Ebediah to do that, or whatever his name
Jedediah. Serenity 72. This is a great point here. Okay. There was an 82-year-old lady in Thurston County, Washington State, that was kidnapped and killed by her handyman. Her remains were found under another customer's shed the handyman built. This was in 2025. I think she was essayed also. Okay. Whoa. So, we've never even considered that part of this, right? Because of the age, but as Serenity Now has pointed out, there are deviants who, whatever you're into. So what are your thoughts here? Is this, do you think this is in play, that this was, someone who is abducting Nancy for the reason that we see people abduct little children all the time? Do you think it could be? Do you think that's possible? 82 in Thurston County, Washington State. Thank you, Serenity.
I didn't really think that was a reason. I never really went so far as to think that was the motive here, but it has lately crossed my mind. Like, what if?
Yeah.
It's bad enough, but what we think happened. What if it was even worse?
Right. Yeah, and it could be like a handyman, a worker, someone who knew that she was there living by herself. Oh my goodness, and I'll just abduct her. Let's get to BM3.
Well, wait, one thing I just want to point out, that Bunny Epson then would have been 54 years of age during the Beverly Hillbillies if he was.
Okay. And I thought he played older than that, right? I thought the character seemed older than that.
Well, he did.
Well, he only had the one daughter. Okay, so Granny. Okay, Irene Ryan was Granny, and she was.
That's supposed to be his mother.
That was his
Yeah.
mother, yeah. And she was 60 years old when there was filming. Okay, and then the only daughter he had was Donna Douglas. That was Bill. What's we call it?
Ellie Mae.
Ellie Mae, and Jethro was his nephew.
Jethro's the nephew.
Yeah.
Okay.
And who was hilarious in that. Let me tell you,
was-
that is such a wonderfully funny show that I never appreciated when I was a kid. There were two shows that, as a kid, I watched and I hated them. And I didn't understand it. And then when I got older, I was laughing my ass off. That the Beverly Hillbillies is one of them, okay, and Green Acres is the other one.
Oh, Green Acres.
Oh,
I love them both, but I don't think I understood the depth of them. Right?
that's it. I didn't appreciate.
But I still liked it.
Oh,
Well, being a big city boy, Al, I would speculate that you were probably turned off by the the setting, the southern,
the chores.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I just didn't appreciate until my cousins moved to Sparta, what like life was like in Hooterville, and then you just come to understand when you see this kind of stuff just how friggin' funny it is. It was hilarious.
Well, you know how I feel the same way about like Tim Conway and Harvey Korman's like Old Man Act and Tim Conway's Old Man Act. All those Old Man Acts I found boring. I found slow moving. I found annoying when I was younger. Now that I've gotten older and, maybe experienced some of those ailments and things that elders go through, now I see that those acts were actually hysterical. It took age to appreciate that.
So Molly McHale Piazza said Granny was Jed's mother-in-law.
Oh, right.
Yes. Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You're right.
He lost his wife, right? He lost
his wife. Yeah.
How do we know how she passed?
They never tell you that in those shows.
I don't think there's ever an episode on that. I know that I've seen the pilot, and I don't remember them even discussing that. It's just that he was out there, heading up some food, and up from the ground came a bubbling crude.
Yeah, and I mean, she missed out. She could have been a rich woman, and she never got to enjoy all of that. Thank you, Molly. And Laura Stone, 6578. Max Baer was Jethro. He actually played tag football with Elvis out in Hollywood.
Cool. Max Baer's father was a championship heavyweight boxer. Yep.
Yes,
and he's still alive. Max Baer's the only member of that crew that's still alive.
What was Granny's the actress's name again? Irene.
Ellie Mae was Donna Douglas.
No, Granny.
Oh, Granny was Irene Ryan.
So I saw Irene Ryan on a show called This Is Your Life, where they would take a celebrity and they'd do a half-hour bio on them. And I saw her without the makeup, and she was a lovely elderly lady, not even that elderly at the time. And it, as a child, it blew my mind, man, because to me, she was Granny. She should look like that in real life. I had no concept of acting and theatrics and stage wear.
That show was casted so well. It
Yeah.
really was. Irene Ryan was hilarious in that thing.
She was.
It just, I love watching it. I just, I keep watching the reruns. They're hilarious. I didn't like the movie, though. I didn't like the reboot movie that they did.
No.
I didn't think that worked out, even though I think Morris Leachman did a good job as Granny.
What would Jed do if Granny was abducted?
Oh, think about it. He had a shotgun and everything else, and he had the dog. The dog would have found her. Okay?
Yes.
And Jethro, who wanted to be a double knot spy.
He did.
Kelly Bird's life. My dog's name is Oliver Wendell Douglas. He rides on my lawnmower.
That's excellent.
That is great.
All right, let's get to let's get current with the
yeah, we're up to number 3.
Mr. Haney, also a great character.
Oh yeah, yes. Mr. Douglas. He would come up with those, just the that truck with everything in the back of the truck that he would be selling. That's hilarious.
All right, I just want to get current with the thing. So let's get to BM number 3.
Number 3.
And it's abducting a news celebrity's mom. And this is a mistake I believe was made by the abductor or abductors. You took Savannah Guthrie's mother. You put a target on your back. You began an investigation and a story that will never die. right? It's going to calm down, but this is a story that will never go away. Never. It'll never be that cold case that everybody forgot about. So, and this is me believing potentially that this was not done because it was Savannah's mom. That it was done because maybe this is someone with money. Maybe they did know that her daughter had some money, but they didn't. I don't think they fully realized the impact that abducting Savannah Guthrie's mother would have, and what it would do to this story. Because anytime something happens to one of our own in the media, it just gets more attention.
Yeah,
it just does. I mean, I know it's not fair, whatever, but it just does. That's the nature of the beast. The story will get covered, and you're not just taking anyone's mom. You have to understand Savannah Guthrie's place in the world of television news. Okay, years ago, the top of the food chain was your nightly news anchor, right? For ABC, CBS, or NBC. That was the top of the food chain. Many years ago, it changed. The top of the food chain is the host of your morning show. Specifically on NBC, it is the Today Show. And whether it was Matt Lauer who changed that, Brian Gumbel who changed it, I don't know. Or what's her name?
Katie Couric.
Katie Couric. Like in that era is when the pecking order changed as to who was the top of the food chain, and it's part of the news department. Yes, they do other things, and that's how we get to know them, and that's how we got to know Nancy, because Nancy appeared on the show several times, including live from her own bedroom once. In 2013, they did a segment on how to make a bed. So they put a camera inside, because Nancy was the ultimate homemaker. Like, she knew how to properly make a bed. So they had Savannah's mom teaching everybody else who was in New York how to make a bed. But I don't think whoever did this had the level of understanding of who they were taking and the way that would impact the coverage of this story, and as a result, the pressure it will put on law enforcement to solve the case. And I think that was a very big mistake and a miscalculation by whoever did this. That will be one of the reasons, along with others, that ultimately they will not get away with it.
I was on the Today Show twice, and at the time I was on the news everywhere. I broke the Guinness record for longest radio broadcast, and I probably got more attention from being on that show twice than I did in all the combined news agencies that I had been a part of. A quick tangent that you struck upon. I used to look at these shows as news programs. Used to wake up and watch the morning shows and get some news out of it. It has become how to load your dishwasher. It has become how to make your bed. And that personally is an issue for me. No disrespect to the hosts, and especially not Savannah.
Even in the initial stages of the Today Show, didn't they have a monkey that was a member of the cast?
Yeah, that they did. That was in the beginning of it. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. It's always been fun. It's always been fun.
Well, fun is one thing, but I think the tide had changed, that it's more about those lifestyle things than hard hitting material.
I got you.
What?
Although the monkey was not doing the news updates,
or was he?
No,
wow, I can't believe I missed that. Whatever, was there a monkey? Because we were in ABC.
J. Fred Muggs.
Wow, man.
J. Fred Muggs was the monkey that was on the Today Show.
I was busy watching Dan Hartman, or not Dan Hartman, Phil Hartman.
No, you mean David Hartman.
David Hartman, thank you. Yeah, I hit up on 3 different Hartmans on that.
Yeah, well, Phil was a good one watching on Saturday Night Live.
Okay, Jonesy, shut up now. Dan Hartman had a hit instant replay.
What I was thinking about when you were talking about that, Vinny, with regards to the fact that that this is just they took the wrong woman because precisely of that fact.
Yeah.
There was a movie in the 70s that was called Charlie Varick with Walter Matthau.
Oh, it sounds familiar.
Okay, Charlie Varick was a guy was a basically a thief, and they got word that this bank had a lot of money, and they ended up stealing from the bank. They robbed the bank. They had done this extensive way to get in. They get it. They cleared the bank out of all this money, and it was like over almost $1 million, which back in 1970 would have been close to like $20 million now. And it turned out it was a mob-controlled bank. It was a bank where the mob put their money to be washed. So basically, Varick says to his partner that there's no way we're ever going to get away with this because they're going to be looking for us forever. We'll never be able to hide because of the fact that we hit off a mob bank. Same situation here. I don't think they knew who she was. I don't think they had any idea of her or her daughter or anything else. I generally don't think that. I mean, we know Savannah because, of course, we all worked with her. Okay. And also she was in New York for a long time. And so we all know her from that. But, other parts of the world, other parts of the country, she may not be a regular name that gets out there all the time. And I don't think they knew who this woman was. I think they knew it was a woman who lived in a house alone, who gets dropped off and goes into the house by herself. I think they had no idea that she was the mother of a celebrity, much like Charlie Varick didn't know it was a mob-controlled bank. So,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
So this is the monkey, Jonesy, right here. It's 1957.
Wow.
And look how well dressed he is.
Jonesy was born too late, man. I was born in 61.
Born too late.
I would have loved that. I mean,
how
that's a great gimmick.
Why would you not tune into that? Like, you know
Exactly.
what I mean? There's no way you don't tune in to the monkey.
That was the beginning of the movie.
Ladies and gentlemen, we present the 2020 sex Tanjanista of the year. Tanjanista of the year. Tanjanista of the
The crowd goes nuts every time Little Miss America K shows up, our Tanjanista of the year for 2026. Happy spring, everyone. March 21st is the first day of spring. We're getting some spring weather here in Georgia today, but next week, it's going down into the 20s again.
Yeah.
March comes in like a lion, but goes out like a lamb.
Well, I'm waiting for the lamb.
Lion out. Yeah. That hopefully. But great to see Little Miss America K on a Saturday joining us here. Yeah, I didn't know if people are going to show up because we did Saturday morning once. I don't know if we've done Saturday at this time.
No,
we've done the cartoon circuit. This is like we gave people the opportunity to watch their cartoons first. Scooby-Doo, Harlem Globetrotters, McGill Gorilla, whoever you're watching, and now they're here watching
the Wacky Racers.
Wacky Racers. I used to love Speed Racer was my favorite because I love that song.
What, Speed Racer? Go Speed
Racer.
Go Speed Racer.
Yeah, I love that
I
song.
never got into Speed Racer. I tried to rent a monkey once for a live show I was doing. I thought if I can get a performing monkey to like ride around on like a tricycle or whatever, that I'd win the audience over immediately. So I actually inquired about it. And when you're from Jersey in an entertainment business and you want to rent a monkey, who do you call? I called a guy named Uncle Floyd Vivino. And Floyd was he was like, oh, man, I know a lot of guys who have performing monkeys, but they refuse to come into New Jersey because of the prohibitive laws concerning their performances. So I was not able to book said monkey, but I once tried to book a performing monkey. Because I
Wow.
see the value in having a monkey.
You should have had the monkey appear via satellite.
Maybe we can get a third video box and have a monkey just like sit there for the 2 hours.
That would be amazing. But we could do that for maybe next year's Christmas show.
Well, I told you that, you know, the fire department in Englewood Cliffs every year had a Christmas party, and they always tried to do some sort of entertainment so that they could keep the wives and the kids in one room with the entertainment, and the men could go in another room and drink. So they, you know, and that as a result, we got Alice Cooper in 1969, which I did on the Christmas, talked about that in the Christmas story. And then one year they got Mr. Jiggs, who was a monkey, okay, and who lived in New Jersey, by the way, a monkey that came in on a motorcycle, okay, and was running like a madman throughout the. Kids are screaming, running, crying.
Was it a real monkey, or was it a
real monkey?
Man dressed as a monkey?
No, it was a real monkey on a motorcycle.
He used to perform all over Jersey.
And he would smoke a cigar, and he would make a martini, okay, and he would do and the kids were so afraid of this monkey, and he was called Mr. Jiggs, and it turned out he wasn't even a Mister, he was a Miss.
Didn't he wear an Evel Knievel outfit when he came in on the motorcycle?
And he didn't wear a helmet, and he would come through, and he would just like ride through the show was always in the like the garage area where the fire trucks would be, because that was a big enough area to perform, and they would pull the trucks out, and he's riding around, and kids are in the way, and they're running out of the way, screaming like lunatics. The mothers are crying, and the old men are in there drinking. And so it was didn't go over very well getting Mr. Jiggs the monkey for the Christmas party in 1972.
They call me Mr. Jiggs.
And he lived in Demarest or Dumont, one of those towns. But all right, I'm sorry.
No, that's great. I love it.
I had a flashback nightmare.
Yeah, I think I found him.
Mr. Jiggs. Yeah, there you go. Okay. It's from the Planet of the Apes. He came in, and it was a real interesting situation.
He looked so worried.
Mr. Jiggs.
Like a furrowed, forehead.
That's not.
All right. Here's Chelsea LNY. Vinnie, crime victim advocate from Long Island here. Strong Island in the house. Why hasn't Nancy's phone data been discussed yet? In elder abuse and romance scam cases, rapport can build for weeks. Her phone timeline could be critical. Well, this is a different approach to the whole case, right? This is very interesting. Let me get you guys back here. There you are. This is very, very interesting, because if you look at it from this perspective that she had some level of contact with the perp ahead of time. You see what I'm saying? That she is the victim of some sort of a scam. I've got to think, though, they went through her phone, haven't they?
Absolutely went through the phones. They went through all the phones. They talked about that. All the phones were
because her phone was left behind. That's how we know the
situation with regards to the
pacemaker info. Stopped communicating with the phone because the phone was left behind.
If this was the case, I don't see the perpetrator coming in the middle of the night and breaking in. If it's something like a romance scam, it would,
Well, you could use that to get information.
Right.
Yeah, but you're going after like any of the scams that you see, and Ben, I'm gonna like let you down on this. There is no prince in Nairobi that's sending you money. I know you keep talking about that, but that prince doesn't exist. The scams that they do on the elderly, okay, are all, usually no contact, because it doesn't put them in a position where they're going to want to be able to be identified. So it is all done via internet and transfers and things along those lines. The phones. What was interesting was people were saying when they were jumping up and down that the brother-in-law did it or whatever. Yeah. And one of the people had said, well, we'll know if he doesn't turn his phone over without a warrant. and every one of the family members turned over their phones. So all the phone data was already looked at, and her phone was there, so that was obviously looked at. And let's face it, if there was a phone calls on there that were unexplained, they would have been looked at by this point.
So Gen X, of course, a member of the incredible Mod Squad, says that YouTube is putting the word monkey in the filter. That's weird. That is weird.
Is that good or bad?
That's not good. We don't want to. Yeah, I wonder if this is going to hurt us because we're talking about the Today Show monkey. That's crazy, but that's the world of algorithms when you have the computers that are running the world instead of human beings.
I don't like that guy Algorithm.
He is very problematic.
Almost as bad as Al Qaeda.
But of course, Gen X, part of our incredible Mod Squad.
We are the Mod Squad, keeping order in the chat. The Mod Squad, spotting trolls who attack. Oh, Gen X is ready and on the scene. Frankie Figs making sure they're keeping it clean. Jennifer Soubey telling haters don't be so mean. And Ashley Bouchard on top of our Facebook screen. We are the Mod Squad, cleaning up the mess. The Mod Squad, simply the best. The Mod Squad.
Yes, best in the business. We are blessed.
Amen.
And by the way, Ashley Bouchard over on Facebook sent me that Deborah Cromlish has sent more stars. Thank you, Deborah. In my opinion, there's been more than 3 mistakes made. This should have been solved by now, or at least a suspect at this point, 100%. Do you think the mistakes made by investigators have prevented this from being solved quickly?
Well, yes, of course. But as I said before, it's delayed, but it will not. It will be worked out. It's just it delayed it extensively, which is sad.
One silly goose, whatnot. Thank you so much. May the dreams you hold dearest be those which come true, and the kindness you spread keep returning to you.
Arambigora.
That would be nice on a dish hanging on the wall in your kitchen over your wallpaper.
So one silly goose, whatnot. Maybe, and they may sell them. They may sell them over at One Silly Goose. I'm not sure what the business is, but you can find them on the WhatsApp. I believe.
That as I look back on my days at Fairfield University, where I was booking the talent for the shows, we had a lot of kids whose family were in the IRA at Fairfield. They all came from Belfast and those parts of the Troubles.
We had that in Kearney.
And they would always, in March, they would go, "You got to get the Clancy brothers. We need the Clancy brothers here." And I'd be looking at them going like, what are the odds I'm going to get the Clancy brothers to come to
in March
Fairfield University? Okay. I mean, in March of all things, I might be able to get them in June. Okay. Yeah. But I'm not going to be able to get them. You got to get the Clancy brothers. So we ended up, I got the Cranberries. I got the Progs. Okay. I did get Tommy Makeup. And as a result of that, I was didn't have to keep sending my roommate out to start my car in the morning because I knew it wasn't going to blow up.
Wow, you got the Pogues with Shane?
Yeah, yes.
That's big deal.
1982.
Yeah, we had in Kearney, I grew up in Kearney, New Jersey. It was a Scottish and Irish town nestled between Newark and Jersey City. And, a lot of Irish businesses, Scottish businesses and stuff. I remember they were looking for a guy from the IRA. I guess maybe it was the FBI. I don't know. Might have been international authorities. And he lived on the same block as I.
Well, it's funny. These guys would get drunk, okay, and they would start like lamenting about the fact that they blew up Lord Mountbatten on a boat and killed his grandson. I was like, Mountbatten didn't deserve it. He wasn't that bad. He was very good to the Irish in World War II. And like they would be getting into these like discussions about that in this state of inebriation. Inebriation. So those are my Fairfield Irish memories. And that is going to be coming up, obviously, March 17th. And tomorrow is the Ides of March. But if history tells us anything, Vinny,
I'm your vehicle, baby. I'll take you anywhere you want to go.
if history tells us anything,
War to civil rights and all the revolution fights. World War I and World War II, well, always knows who is who. It's this day in history. This day in history. History. Now let's listen to his story.
well, as I said at the beginning of the broadcast, that March 14th, 314, is known as Pi Day, 3.14. A number of places are having specials that you can go and get free pie or $3.14 pizza pies and things along those lines. So please take advantage of that. So on this day in history, we say happy birthday to Albert Einstein.
Wait. Did you say piece of pie or pizza pie?
Piece of pie and pizza pie, both.
Okay.
I think you get yourself a piece of pie or a pizza pie.
You know, the establishment should make you define what pie is before you get your discounted meal, because most people probably wouldn't be able to do it.
What, they wouldn't know 3.14 or 22/7?
Right.
Okay. That's fair. That's a fair thing to say. So on this day in 1967, JFK's body was moved from a temporary gravesite at Arlington National Cemetery to the permanent site he is at now, with the eternal flame and everything else going on there. If you ever get an opportunity to go, it is just an incredibly moving memorial to a slain president. And in 1973, hero John McCain was released after spending over 5 years in prison of a North Vietnamese prison as a POW. This man was just remarkable. He was shot down in October of 1967. Because he was the son of a rear admiral, he was given the opportunity to be released by the North Vietnamese. They were looking to use this to get some favorable publicity. And he told them no. He said, there are guys who've been in this prison much longer than me. You're going to let them go first. If you're going to let anyone go, let them go. And as a result, he was tortured incessantly as a punishment for not letting them get this, shit that they were trying to use to get some favorable publicity in the world. And, I've heard people say some nasty things about him. And to me, the man is a hero and will always be a hero in my mind, because if I was that guy knocked down and they gave me the opportunity to get out, knowing what I knew about the Hanoi Hilton, I would have left. So that would have been on that. All right. And true crime. Let's go. You know what? We're going to go in 1891. New Orleans lynching. Okay. Following the murder of Police Chief David Hennessy, 11 Italian immigrants were lynched by a mob. Okay. What ended up happening was David Hennessy was a corrupt police chief, and there were two gangs that were working in New Orleans at that point in time. And he made a comment when he was asked who shot him, using an Italian slur word. And as a result of that, they rounded up all these Italians, and there were 9. 9 went to trial. 6 were acquitted, and 3, there was a situation where it was a hung jury. So it was a mistrial. They were in the prison, about to be released. The 6 were going to be released, and the other 3 were also going to be released pending a new trial. And over 1,000 people showed up, pulled them out of the prison, shot them, mutilated them, and hung them. And no one was ever prosecuted or arrested for that crime.
And that led to
the
Columbus Day.
Columbus Day, correct. I was getting to that.
That's how Italian Americans were given Columbus Day by the president at the time, and it was the anniversary of. It was like the following year was the anniversary of Christopher Columbus coming to the United States. The president wanted to pay tribute and extend an olive branch, pun intended, to the Italian community. And we're going to give you a day. And Christopher Columbus was Italian, so and the anniversary of Christopher Columbus was coming up. So the whole genesis of Columbus Day is about the persecution and the largest mass lynching of any group in the history of the United States.
Correct.
So when you attack Columbus Day, understand what you're attacking. Most don't. That's why every year I post on social media the actual history and genesis of Columbus Day, so people who don't understand, who don't know the history of the day, maybe will understand why we as Italian Americans celebrate a day that was given to us based upon our history in this country, which we love.
And this was, as I said, 1891 on this day. 1964, jury finds Jack Ruby guilty of red rum of Lee Harvey Oswald. And in 1992, Mets Darrell Boston, Vince Coleman, and Dwight Gooden are accused of SA in spring training in Florida. And then the charges were eventually dropped on April 10th. So they were able to be in the opening day of Met baseball that year due to a lack of corroborating evidence.
Yeah, things would play out a little bit differently today.
Yes.
I have no recollection of that, and I'm, like the three of us, huge Met fan, and remember that crew very well because they also got in trouble for things like playing poker during the game in the locker room. Coleman throwing firecrackers at fans as they drove out of the stadium.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of hijinks from those guys.
And finally, on this day in Revolutionary War history, Marquis de Lafayette arrives in Yorktown, Virginia, with 1,200 troops to combat the forces of traitor Benedict Arnold, and he's later relieved by Lord Cornwallis, and this will lead to the surrender of the British in October of that year. Okay, so that would be the end of battles with regards to the Revolutionary War. So that's what happened on this day, March 14th.
I've got one more for you, Al. On this day in history, superfan Megan Jenkins, 2937. Hi, guys. Glad to see you. It's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
There once was a lass, Megan J, who brightens up every dull day. With a laugh and a grin, she can't help but win and chase all the gray clouds away. Happy birthday, dear Megan, we cheer. Raise a glass, tip it high, have a beer. From the hills to the sea, you're the heart of this spree. Happy birthday, Megan, my dear.
Now Jenkins, that bold family name, says you're destined for joy, luck, and fame. May your troubles stay small, may your blessings stay tall, and your feast put the old kings to shame.
Happy birthday, dear Megan, we cheer. Raise a glass, tip it high, have a beer. From the hills to the sea, you're the heart of this spree. Happy birthday, Megan, my dear.
You
Happy
share a birthday.
Megan Jenkins.
She shares a birthday with Albert Einstein, Michael Caine, and on this day in 1883, Karl Marx dies. So
Karl
that's-
Marx. Which one was he?
He was
Harpo, Groucho, Zeppo.
He was the one that was only him and Gummo were the only two that only did one movie. So
Oh man, unbelievable. Okay. Here we go. So we've got here we go. So user II9H05CR9Z. I thought they were talking about Nancy Guthrie. We are talking about Nancy Guthrie, but once in a while here on the Tangent podcast, we do go off on
What's
a
that word?
tangent.
Tangent, right?
Yes, indeed. So we are back to it. Megan Jenkins with a happy birthday. So as we sit here on this Saturday, and we know in Tucson, we know what the scene was like initially, right? We know in the fever of the first week, the second week, the third week, and then we got to week 5 and the media pulled back. They're covering other stories. There's little footnotes. The true crime community has not let go of the story, but the rest of pop culture has sort of simmered down on this. What do you think happens here? And I was going to put this as a potential mistake by the family to remain quiet. Do you think it's a mistake for the family to stay out of the spotlight? Obviously, Savannah has posted on social media. When she does post, it becomes a story. Do you think the family should speak more, or because of who the family is, do they not need to speak?
They may have reasons that we don't know about, having to do with the investigation and such. Possible.
They put the money, they put the reward up. Okay. So, I mean, so as the old expression, they put their money where their mouth is. And so I don't know if they necessarily have to get on there and be doing a rah-rah and a cheerlead. I mean, there is $1 million incentive to anyone who's got information about this or anyone who knows what happened, that, is going to be louder than any words they could possibly say. And I do think that the other problem is that, the press, the communities that go with true crime and everything else are so quick to criticize every time there's a message by any family member. They're analyzed, they're looked at, they're dissected, bisected, trisected, and it's got to be very frustrating that you're on there trying to generate some sort of emotion or show that be real, and to have people say she doesn't look like she's upset or this, that, the other thing. I don't understand. She seems too calm. She seems too this. That's got to really be very rankling to anyone who's in her position or her family's position. And not to mention the fact she's got a brother-in-law that everyone keeps pointing fingers at.
Well, that's a big deal now. I mean, there's been reporting that has upset her the most, is that people have continued at this point to suspect members of the family being involved. But those suspicions, if you look at the suspicions online, they go the whole gamut. There's a YouTuber, and I've met him a bunch of times at CrimeCon, at Big Cases, at Murdoch. Jonathan Lee Richens, right? JLR Investigates. He's the one who's been out there from the beginning and just has parked he's whenever something happens, he's there. He's got he live streams 12 hours a day from out in Tucson, and has really kind of given everyone a look at what's actually happening day in and day out. But there are people who have implicated him, and he posted it himself. That someone said that's him under the mask. People have implicated the sheriff as being a potential suspect in this. People have pointed at the former sheriff as being a potential suspect in all of this. So I think what I would just implore is you have to take everything that is discussed online in a huge case like this that is unsolved with a grain of salt, and you have to understand people will say things. Some people say things because they legitimately believe it. Some people say things because they want to be controversial.
That's a big part of it, yeah.
That's a big part of it. So And I understand, like for myself, people are talking about me and court TV and things all the time, like all the time. You get on a hot case like Karen Reed, people are saying things about you, and I always take it with a grain of salt. It comes with the territory. So I think from a victim's perspective, as long as people are continuing to talk about the story, you take the good with the bad and just be thankful that people are still aware that we're still looking for our mom. We're still looking for our daughter, whatever the case is, because I have spoken with the families where no one is talking about it. And that is really bad when no one even, my son has been missing and no one talks about it. No one says any. That is where you don't want to be, because that leaves you in a place where it is so much more likely to go ice cold to the fact that it never, ever, ever gets solved, doesn't get the attention, and there's no pressure on law enforcement. So I think you have to take the good and the bad with the world we live in, because everyone has a voice in the world of social media. Like everyone has a voice. So you're going to take the good with the bad. I think you just have to.
It's as I said, it's an awkward position to be in. It's a horrible position to be in. I Godspeed that this case gets, Godspeed that every case that's cold gets solved. And I want people to have that relief to know what happened. Good, bad, indifferent. I think it's better to know than not to know.
Yeah. So Gen X, all this music might turn Vinnie Irish.
Oh, I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it's, well, here's the thing, right? Like in the town I grew up in, it was like Italian, Irish, and Jewish, and then like 5% of everything else mixed in there. That was the town I grew up in. So there were natural rivalries which existed. And it was like on St. Paddy's Day, everybody's a little bit Irish except the Italians.
Yes, that's a very valid point.
Obviously, I grew up. I have a lot of Irish friends. I have Italian friends. I have Jewish friends, and I have the other 5% friends.
The other
that we all
5%.
grew up together. It was a thing. It was a thing. There was the rivalry, but it was friendly. But we just knew that we were just a little bit better.
Well, there's nothing better than an Irish wake, I must say.
Italian food.
Well, no, but an Irish wake is just such a wonderful way to celebrate the life of the person who passed.
Yes, I agree.
I had a opportunity, sadly, on a police officer who I knew very well, who passed away due to cancer and way too young at 54. And after the wake, we all went to a bar called Finnegan's, and it was all the Irish cops and me.
Hey, Finnegan's.
And we this is in Westwood, New Jersey, and we had the opportunity to salute and to remember and to enjoy the man whose life had just passed. And so an Irish wake is just a very, very wonderful opportunity to remember.
I agree. As opposed to an Italian wake, like we had one, we had the wake, and it was my Uncle Nick, who was from the old country, who always spoke with a heavy accent, so much so that as a child, I couldn't understand everything he was saying. But his brother Cheech moved to America after he and his brother Nicole, had been separated for decades. And they got to spend, 5-6 years together here in the United States, because my Uncle Nick never went back to Italy. And when Cheech came, 6 years later, my Uncle Nick, who's actually my great uncle, he passed away. And at the wake, Cheech did like an Italian wake. He's sitting there and he literally dove onto the casket.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
Onto the open casket and was crying and wailing. And at that point, I'm like, maybe the Irish do that part a little bit, but it's the raw emotion of it all, right? It's the raw emotion, and that's there's a big difference there. Speaking of Irish, Susan Hendricks, my pal from HLN, I see some similarities to Delphi in terms of not saying much to the media and family criticism, right? So in the Delphi case, families did not really speak that much. I know Susan spoke with them often, but a lot of that, was kept off the record until the appropriate time. And that family fell to some criticism as well. Great to see you, Susan. I would have done a limerick for you.
Didn't that take 41 days? Someone was telling me that took 41 days, the Delphi, the investigation, and we
10 years.
10 years, yeah.
7 years.
Oh, my stars. I'm thinking of something else.
Yes.
Let's just forget I was here.
Why don't we go with a limerick?
Jonesey, have another
limerick.
round. Why don't you, Jonesy?
There once was a man from Nantucket.
Oh,
I'm not going to go any further.
no, you shan't go any further. You've already.
I'm so confused.
You always are dancing on the line there in this day in history.
No.
Thank you, April Diaz. Have a great day today. Thank you, April Diaz. We appreciate everything you say. We all know she's a great fan, and we know the kind words she has. We always love to hear from you. Thank you, April Diaz.
That's my favorite little line.
Thank you, April.
April Diaz, 1313. Have a great rest of your weekend, sweethearts. Al, when you use the other background, are those your books? I try to see the titles.
Yes, they are my books. That's my. In fact, I'm in that room. I never do this show from this room. This is where I do Court TV, and I was on yesterday with Vinnie from 5 to 7, which was a wonderful opportunity. And so I'm doing it from the room that I ordinarily would be for Court TV, where I don't have the background, and that is, well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Why don't you grab a random book and tell us the title?
You could pull a book out of the thin air.
Here he goes.
Cool. Wow. Now pull a rabbit out of your hat.
Okay. Son of Hope, okay, is the book. Dear Albert, may the blessings of God always be upon your life. The Lord Almighty is your hope. Signed, David Berkowitz.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
That's Son of Sam, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you keeping track at home.
44 caliber killer.
Al gets autographs from serial red rummers. Oh.
Well, I had mentioned that we had used him with regards to an investigation that was going on
Right.
that we were finding in the area. But he
So
signed the book and wrote that to me. But he wrote that book, actually.
Ashley Bouchard, part of the Mod Squad, Italian, Irish, all the same, right? I would say Jewish is closer to Italian than Irish.
Yes.
Would you agree?
I would say this, that if anyone who has ever watched the mob wars of Boston or Chicago or New York would never say that the Irish and the Italians are the same, because they were absolutely had their own areas, their different places, and no one ventured from one side of the track to the other side of the track.
Right. But culturally, let's look at them. Food-wise, Italian, like Irish, I don't even consider.
That's
Jonesy, what do Irish people even eat? What do you guys eat?
Well, I mean, I was raised to believe I was Scottish Protestant before I found out that I was the bastard child of an Irish Catholic. So what we eat is a little bit different than, and that, think about that. I've got love tattooed on one hand and hate tattooed on the other. I mean, my mom would have some fabulous suggestions, like dressing me up in orange, sending me off to elementary school on St. Patrick's Day.
That's not a good move. Not a good move.
Court-appointed psychiatrist when you grow up. But what's that? Like we would have a thing called tatties and mince, which was Scottish. It was ground round, just a can of gravy and potatoes. And then the Irish, of course, have the upside down version of that, which is the shepherd's pie, right?
So
shepherd's
what is
pie.
pub food? Is pub food Irish or Scottish, or is it a combination? Like when we go to a pub
No,
here in
it's Irish.
America.
Irish and British.
Yeah, I don't. I think of pub food as just like simple food. I don't really think of it as ethnic myself.
No, the pub food is shepherd's pie, is bangers and mash.
Hey, what are bangers? Are bangers is that Irish?
Sauce. That's English.
That's English. Bangers are English. Okay.
But also corned beef, obviously.
Corned beef is,
Cabbage, obviously. Red potatoes, obviously.
Name 6 things that Vinnie will never eat.
arson.
Then you've got the Irish stew is wonderful. Irish soda bread, which we brought up earlier in the program.
All right. You've continued a list of things I will never eat.
And by the way, I do like caraway seeds in my Irish soda bread. And let's see what else. Pot roast. Okay.
I might try a pot roast.
I
might.
You consider pot roast to be Irish?
Well, it is a Irish. You will find it in Ireland. You'll find it in Irish restaurants.
Irish? Who goes to an Irish restaurant?
None of us mentioned the obvious: potatoes.
Well,
Potato.
I said red potatoes.
Okay, that's like a food group, man.
So picture this, guys. Picture this. Italy, 1987, right? I'm out there. Me and my friend Ronnie, we're in Italy. We sit down having dinner at a cafe outside, eating some Italian food, and we strike a conversation with a young Irish couple who actually were in Rome because this Irish couple went to Rome to get married at the Vatican. They were very, very Catholic. Okay? And the husband was complaining about the food. He's in Rome, Italy, complaining about I just want a nice piece of meat. Just give me a piece of, that's all I want is a piece of meat. I can't wait to get back home. And me and my friend Ronnie are like, oh my, we're eating better than we've ever eaten in our lives. These 2 Italian Americans in Italy, backpacking around. And this guy's complaining about the food. But you know what it is? You like what you know, and you know what you like.
Yeah.
Christopher Soprano, here's a tangent. Christopher Soprano died in an episode before he was resuscitated. And when he came back, they asked him what like hell was like. And he said that hell was either hell or purgatory, I forget which, was an Irish bar where it's St. Patrick's Day every day.
So there's that natural rivalry that does, in fact, exist. All right, Megan Jenkins, Al, sing I'll Tell Me Ma, please. I'll Tell Me Ma. Can you sing I'll Tell Me Ma? Do you know I Tell Me Ma?
I don't. I'm not familiar with that one.
How about Whiskey in a Jar?
I'm not familiar with that one either.
Thin Lizzy, traditional Irish song.
Oh yeah. Well, I was, I got to tell you, Thin Lizzy was a great band. I was never really into them. I like Nazareth better than them. But if you're going to go with the Irish bars, Irish bands. Boomtown Rats. Boomtown Rats are my favorite. And they have the song I Don't Like Mondays.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Silicon chip inside her head.
Sadly, I do thematic musical sets. Sadly, I break that one out quite often.
Nobody's going to go to school today. She's going to make them stay at home. And Daddy doesn't understand it. He always said she was good as gold. And they could see no reason, because there are no reason to believe to know. Oh, whoa, tell me why I don't like Mondays. So Boomtown Rats, wonderful band. Bob Geldorf, great individual, put together, Live Aid. I mean, it was him and Midge Ure, who doesn't really get the credit all the time.
Midge Ure, musical genius, but Geldorf, from that documentary, seems obsessed with the Live Aid thing to the point of almost a fault. I mean, it was a good thing that he was doing, but he seemed obsessed.
No, he went there, And like I said, like the people put their money where their mouth is. He went there and saw what was going on, and came back and put together one of the most incredible concerts I've ever been to in my life.
By the way, folks, we do have true crime merch available.
Shirt and a hoodie, a beach towel and a mug. A new design from Vinnie is better than a drug. True crime merch, you know he did it. True crime merch, mark the exhibit. True crime merch, we hate Casey. True crime merch from Vinnie originally. Our tangent stuff is great, unlike any others. Buy it now, don't wait. Perfect for all you mothers. True crime merch, allegedly. True crime merch, stepped on a bee. True crime merch, it's not free. True crime merch from Vinnie originally.
Indeed. Get that merch, folks. Get that merch.
I'm wearing it. Viva la Tangenistas.
All right, let me make you larger. Wait, nope. Nope. That's a little bit bigger. I want to make Al really big. One second. Oh, here we go. Nope. I'll bring him over here. Up. There's Al.
There you go.
No, I want to make him even larger. Can I make him larger?
It's larger.
No. Maybe there. No. I'm trying to find the screen where he gets. Oh, maybe this one. No, that's the wrong one. Da, 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 da. Oh, this one. There we go.
There you go. Viva las Tangenistas. Gets a lot of comments, folks. If you want to be noticed, wear this.
And we also have the allegedly merch. By the way, you can also get the allegedly cap, ladies and gentlemen. The allegedly cap. We had winter caps, but spring is here, so you might want to get this for spring as well. And oh, what a lineup of Mod Squad merch. Really some great designs put together for the merch there. So as you know, I am type 1 diabetic. I will not be announcing my blood sugar now, but what I will be doing is eating lunch. So I don't want to crash on you guys. So I gotta oh yeah. And don't forget, we also have the coffee mugs. Billy Morris, thank you so much. Yes. We've got the allegedly mugs, person of interest mugs, and we've got tangent mugs that you only see us when you put something hot in your mug. So you can fill up your mug with something hot and steamy, and you get to see us.
And then, in honor of St. Patrick's Day, which is coming, I want to throw out a couple of movies that I think people should watch to get kind of the feel of the Irish. Just the essence of being Irish. First, I would recommend Going My Way, which is a tremendously wonderful movie. Bing Crosby, plays a priest in an Irish parish. Exactly right. And Barry Fitzgerald. I mean, it's just it. And I defy you to watch the movie and not cry at the end, and not cry in the sense that it's sad. Cry because it's so beautiful. I would say In the Name of the Father, which is an incredible movie about an Irishman who was improperly prisoned at a time during the Troubles, which is phenomenal. 66 Days, which is also a great movie regarding the Troubles in Ireland. And then another movie with Jimmy Cagney called Angels with Dirty Faces.
Oh.
And that was a movie that showed the Bowery Boys for the first time. Or the Dead End Kids or the East Side Kids.
East Side comedy.
Those are 4 movies that I would highly recommend you go watch. Most importantly, Going My Way. And then, of course, there's The Quiet Man with John Wayne, another phenomenal Irish movie. So you've got homework, folks. Homework. There'll be a quiz.
But you didn't say The Irishman.
Why? Because The Irishman is that's an easy one to say. The Irishman. I mean, these are movies that you might not know deal with the Irish.
Gotcha. Dr. JW33, the quality of the merch is superb.
Oh, excellent.
Superb. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got to rock and roll. Thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday. Thank you to the Mod Squad, of course. Thank you for the super chats, everyone. Extremely generous today. We appreciate that. And thank you for the great conversation. Al, where can folks find Albert H. Wunsch III, Esquire?
Okay, well, folks, just so you know that tonight I will be at Don Bosco High School for a charity auction, which if anyone's interested, it would be the Don Bosco Beefsteak Auction 2026. Tremendously incredible gifts that are being auctioned off to raise money for scholarship funds for inner city children. So it is a great opportunity to get some incredible merchandise from some. I mean, I've got like 7 things that I'm on there from my own private library and everything else. You'll find some incredible things that you can bid on, get a tax deduction, and do something good. So I will be there for that. Then on Tuesday and Thursday of next week, I will be with Vinnie 5 to 7 on Court TV. I got an opportunity to do a show with him yesterday, which was phenomenal. 2 hours, Vinnie and I. Okay, no, which were called
Jonesey.
Right. I was watching.
and it was.
And when
it
you
was
mentioned the tangent, I thought, oh, they only mentioned me.
Right. Dr. JW33 wants to know, how can I reach you, Al, if I'm not on X?
Then you can look me up at legalweapon3.com.
There you go, legalweapon3.com.
Well, that you can send me an email at Albert. You can send me an email at the easiest way to send me is an email. Okay, legalweapon3@msn.com.
MSN.
Yep.
All right.
And so let me just end this also by saying I will be Wednesday, thanks to Joni. I'm going to a show in New York with Jesse Mallon. I'm going to be watching that show. And Viva Las Tangenistas. Hasta la vista, Las Tangenistas.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hasta la vista.
Los Tangenistas! Viva Los Tangenistas!
All right, Jonesy, where can folks find the radio legend?
Well, tomorrow, like every Sunday, you can find me from noon to 3 p.m. Eastern time on WFMU radio. Look it up. It's the thing about tomorrow that's different is the highest profile show of the year. It is the final day of our fabulous fundraising marathon, which are wild events featuring me screaming for 3 hours.
Nice. Oh, no. Legendary. I don't use that word lightly here. Folks, you can find me on Court TV 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. Live trial coverage. And we'll have some big announcements coming up soon relative to all of that.
And also relative to the tangent, we've got some big announcements coming up.
Yeah, we got a lot. There's a lot of things in the works, but we're just not ready quite yet to divulge all of that information. But we will. But
we are going to CrimeCon, folks. So
yeah, we'll be at
CrimeCon.
CrimeCon. We will be at CrimeCon. We're locking that in. All right. So there you have it. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I gotta find this. Why am I still
go bra?
Ladies and gentlemen. Where is it? All right. Say goodnight, Jonesy.
Good night, Jonesy.
Good night, everyone. Good night. Thank you for all your support. We are the Tangent True Crime Podcast. We'll see all of you in court. Somebody say tangent. Tangent. Somebody say podcast. Podcast. Tangent, tangent. Podcast, podcast. This is the Tangent Podcast. Good night, everyone. Good night. Thank you for all your support. We are the Tangent True Crime Podcast. We'll see all of you in